Do you know? Oh, okay. Oh, hey. Hey, hello, Internet. I see you there. How you doing today? All good? Can you hear us 5x5? Give a signal if you can. Um, Tons of nada. Tons of nothing. Lots of zilch. Plenty of zip. And I don't mean zip files or zip like energy. I mean, there are times when you make plans, you give it a good effort, or even your best effort. You do all the necessaries, and nevertheless, things just don't work out. So, it could be anything, right? It could be any kind of plan or projection or whatever thing you're building towards. If you put in all the time and effort it takes to do all the things to get it done, there's no guarantee that things will get done the way you expect and that the results you want will be met. And that's especially true in certain fields and in certain aspects of life, personal and professional. Pretty much it happens to everyone once in a while, at least in their personal life, unless they're utterly blessed with a golden life and never have any problems. And who knows, maybe there are people like that. Personally, I've never met anybody like that. Even if it appears like that for some time, like, oh, that so-and-so has a perfect life. Well, usually when you dig under the surface, you'll find that even people with perfect lives don't really have one. And that's because, nobody's perfect. And there are usually problems to contend with no matter who you are. Now, some problems are lesser than others. Some people's lives are certainly more privileged than others and, less difficult or less challenging in some ways than others, right? Like if you have to struggle for, if you have food insecurity, right? You don't know what food you're going to have your next meal or when it's going to be, right? Or even where it's going to be. Or who's going to provide it for you if you can't provide it for yourself, right? Those are what you could, call much more challenging issues than if your biggest issue is, what brand of tire are you going to put on your luxury car, right? Or, how many rooms do you want to add to the new part of your house? How many houses do you want to buy and build on your property, on one of your properties? There's always levels of these things. So there are different levels of problems. And by the way, just because you have money doesn't mean you don't have health problems or, other problems that everyday common people with no money face, right? In fact, you might have even more. But the point is, everybody faces problems, whether they're big or small, hard or easy, long term or short term. It's not an avoidable thing. What matters is what we do to overcome those things by getting up off the ground if we fall and moving forward. So you might even say, get up, dust yourself off, and move forward. And that's normally the way to do it. Because in that moment, when you dust yourself off, your head clears and you're ready to go forward. Sometimes you might not have time. to dust yourself off. You literally just need to get up and move forward. And just cope with the little bit of pain that comes with falling. You know, maybe you bruised yourself or who knows what. And by dusting yourself off, you might be able to help brush away some of the pain. Sometimes if you can't, it'll just hurt a bit more. So it's important to dust yourself off, but sometimes, you know, say you're on a battlefield, you don't have time, right? Because the enemy's shooting at you, and you gotta get from wherever you are to wherever your next place is to go. And if you can't go there, you're in big trouble. And if you stay in one place and dust yourself off even for 2 seconds, you know, that might be the end of you. So you need to know when to dust yourself off, which is hopefully most of the time, if not all the time, and when not to, which is when you don't have time to do that. But in either case, you most definitely want to get up and move forward and dust yourself off once you can, but not until then. Anyway, the reason I mentioned this is because I notice that between troughs and swells in seasons, and this is something I've noticed for many decades, in between the troughs and the swells, there is the difficult part of the climb or the descent. And that is usually where the difference is made. That is where you put in the grease to make sure the machine is still running right. That is where you put in the effort to make sure you get to the next level. That's where all the difference is made. It's on the actual slope during the actual climb, right? The very beginning, it's easy. You're just putting one foot forward in front of the other. The very end is easy because you're just finishing. You can see it. You give it your all. You're done. But the climb, the grueling part, where it's difficult, a challenge, that's the real work. The part when everyone else who isn't participating in your particular travail is busy with their own thing, doing, looking away, not interested. They got things to do. They got their own lives to live. And that's good. Your challenge, as every individual has, me, you, everyone you know, your challenge is not to stop just because times get tough. Keep pushing, because that is where the difference is made. It may be that some things take a bit longer than you think. It may be that some things take a bit more effort than you originally planned. It may be that the plans themselves change, because that's what happens all the time. Whatever it is, you want to keep pushing. Because when you push forward with whatever you're working on, during the times when it is most difficult, that is when the key change towards your success or your failure will be met. And either way, you'll get resolution. And if you push forward well enough, and if you have a modicum of probabilities on your side, well, then the math says you will probably be successful in your goal. It doesn't mean you will be. It just means but the probability is on your side. And if it's not, or if the probabilities are on your side and yet you still fall short, well, there are always other probabilities, including the one that indicated you might not succeed. If you had a 68.3% probability of success, that means you had a 31.7% probability of failure. Okay? If you have a 95.5 probability of success, it means you have a 4.5% probability of failure, and so on and so forth. And that is why it's important not just to recognize the probabilities that you hope to get, also recognize those that you hope not to get in order to plan accordingly so that if those happen, they do not set you back, but they do not set you back more than you are prepared for, so that they don't effectively set you back in practical terms, and you can continue to move forward. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that for today. And I wish you all a happy day, and happy marketing. And may the good marketing and good life be with you. Cheers.